I realize I've been gone for a while and I'm not going to give you a reason why. However, the making of this video is very important. As of today, it is September 29th, which is a Friday, and we have a big regional coming up in LA. So two things. This will be a deck profile of the deck that I'm taking to the regionals, which, hint, hint, it is going to be a Tellarknights deck profile. And two, if you see me at the regionals, don't come near me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Please come forward. I would love to discuss strategies with you. I would love to play with you. I would love to discuss all this nutty stuff that's going on in this brain. And of course, you know, take pictures because yes, I'm that famous now. Anyway, let's get all that stuff out of the way, guys. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Let's get us to 1,000 subscribers. I think we can get there if we try. And before the regionals are out, I got some spice for you. I got this amazing deck profile that I've been working on that it's gonna take, you betcha, Tellarknights to the next level. We're gonna start with 3 copies of Tellarknights Lyran. Tellarknights Lyran is a great card. That's what makes this deck work. It's self-explanatory. On summon, it adds a Tellarknights spell card. It's a trigger summon, so sometimes it can chain block against Ash Blossom and stuff like that. So mandatory 3 of. You got 2 copies of Alteran, the next best card in the deck. This card is a huge interruption during the opponent's turn. Just keep in mind that if you use its effect to pop cards on the field, you can only attack with Tellarknights monsters the rest of the way. Tellarknights XC monsters, which can get in the way of sometimes of OTK opponents. I'm sure if you played this deck long enough, you know that by now. So we got 1 copy of Anukulai. This one I can go between 1 or 2. Either way, however, in this build, I think 1 will suffice. What it does is it'll dump Alteran usually into the grave. That can get your combo going. We got 1 copy of Altair. This guy's usually for, don't want to see him early on, but his effect is pretty useful at times when it's for a follow-up. We got 1 copy of the Neb, and then 1 copy of Vega. Vega is a extender, the Neb is a searcher. You want to keep those at 1. We got double copies of Constellar Caduceus and then 1 copy of Sheraton. Sheraton is sadly mandatory in this deck. I've tried versions without it, and it does suffer because Caduceus is such a good card and you can't search it any other way outside of Sheraton. So yeah, so this is your Satellar/Constellar engine. Much more compact than the previous version that you guys are using to. This is like the new version that I'm trying out, and because I've been losing to Nib so much, I've decided to go the route of the Super Heavies. I am running 3 copies of Super Heavy Samurai Prodigy. Self-explanatory, this is a 1-card combo. This can get you into Baron without using up a normal summon and on your 5th summon. So that after that you can play your Tellarknights engines, which is great because this resets it as a pendulum and then you can summon your Tellarknights without even using your normal summon. I've gone games where I didn't use a normal summon during my turn, which feels amazing being a Tellarknights player. And obviously you got 3 copies of Bike. You can run 2 of these. I run 3 because I love the consistency. Some of you might ask, if you don't open Bike and you just go Wakashi route, just keep in mind you won't be able to make Baron. However, it will still give you 2 level 4s on the field. That way you can still pivot and go into your Tellarknights engine without using the normal summon. So it's important to know that. Okay, so that's 3 Bikes. You got 1 copy of Booster and then 1 copy of the Brick. Some people run 2. If I end up drawing this guy, too bad, then I won't be able to use this engine. But if you guys want, you guys can run 2 of them. I already have Sheraton as a Brick. Benkei is another one. I don't want to do it. Takes this deck to the next power level, in my opinion, is running a very small Kashtira engine. I know the deck has been hit recently, but that's okay because Unicorn 2 copies and Fenrir 2 copies themselves are pretty nutty. You don't have to exceed them away either, or you can just you don't even have to use their effects going first. I know if you're worried about Nib, you can always do the Prodigy effect and then Pendulum summon your Fenrir if you want to do it at the end of your summon of Baron. So something to keep in mind. So Fenrir is a 2 of, Unicorn's a 2 of, 1 Rice Heart, sorry, not a Rice Heart. Rice Heart is great because it's a free level 4 body on the field. So if you feel like you don't want to pivot to your level 7 XC, which sometimes you won't have to, it's a free level 4 on the board that lets you extend in different ways. And then for the hand traps, I got just 2 Ash Blossoms. You can use this number to 3, but 2 is good enough for me. I don't think this format is very friendly to hand traps nowadays. I think it's so diverse that board breakers are more important than hand traps. Let's move on to our spell lineup. We got 2 Constellar Tellarknights instead of 3, and Spoiler alert, I am not running Skybridge. Skybridge does not come in handy in this deck. It really bricks with everything. So these are the key cards. And you will need Skybridge sometimes. If they imperm your cards, it's okay. If they because that's essentially what we're dodging. Imperm and Veiler, and a lot of people are just running Imperm. So I'm not too worried about it. If it happens, it happens. That's the Tellarknights are not like the key power of the deck anymore. Especially not the normal summoned ones. You got 2 Pressure Planet Raid Sot. This is a great starter. This usually baits out the Ash, which is fine because after that you can just pivot to your Tellarknight engine or your Super Heavy engine, because this is staying on the field and Super Heavies, as long as you keep those spells out of the grave, which will be great, which is why I feel Kashtira works really great. And Kashtira Birth is another one, just 1 copy. Really liking the way that this deck is working out right now. By the way, if you find me on Discord, which the link is in my channel somewhere, please feel free to join in. We have a group of people over there that love discussing strategies. This is probably one of the reasons why I came up with this strategy. A lot of people are always giving me hints and ideas and they want me to put it out. I'm basically the extension of their voice because I have all this platform. So now here we're gonna get a little bit expensive. This is why my children didn't have dinner last night. You got 2 Triple Tactics Thrust. What an amazing card, guys. This card got me out of so much trouble. And then 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. This is the ratio that you should be running. To wrap up our normal ones, we also have Reinforcements of the Army. So that's if you can see, this is the trend here. We're boosting up a lot of our normal spells and traps that we're using here, and kind of lowering down on a lot of the quick play. So Reinforcements of the Army, it can search out your Kashtira Rise Heart, and it can also search out all your Teller cards. So 1 copy of that, unfortunately it's at 1. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperities, self-explanatory consistency card. I know the deck space is thin, a lot of you have been asking that, but sometimes going first or second, you can kind of tell what engine, what cards are you going to be banishing for its effect. If you're going first and you open this and you don't have the Super Heavy engine in your hand, you're going to be forced to play this. Once you play this, you can already banish Baron and the Axial Synchron. That's already 2. It's a very good card, but you have to be very careful when you activate it and what your targets are going to be. To wrap up the normal spells, I have a Change of Heart. It's a great card, guys. It forces your opponent to react. So Change of Heart, you can take any of their XC monsters, slap yours on top of it, which is great. You can take almost anything and then link off with it. So I think this card pushes for game a lot too. So a lot of people, this is basically like a reaction card. People have to respect it. And it's like a 1-for-1 trade-off. So I don't mind you having it. And then like the MVP of the deck, Herald of the Abyss. Didn't know what this card was up until I played against an Unchained player, and I had Zeus with like 4 materials, and during his turn he just activated Herald of the Abyss and just got rid of my Zeus just like that. Very powerful card. Just remember to activate it against Purely. And like any card that leaves 1 boss monster on the field that's unaffected by anything, this card will take care of it because it doesn't target and kind of makes your opponent to get rid of their monsters, not you. So it's like evenly matched but specific. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. I do not run Imperm in this format. It's just I feel like Imperm is not that good. I think, was it Jesse Cotton that said it, that Imperm is kind of mid? And after a lot of digging up and looking it up, that I saw that Imperm, it's targets. And a lot of cards target now or like are unaffected. So I much rather have cards like Herald of the Abyss or cards like engine built in like Ash Blossom that doesn't shut down the Super Heavy engine at all. So that's the monster lineup and the spell lineup. So the main deck is 40 cards. Try to stick to 40 to keep it consistent. Let's get into the extra deck. For the extra deck, we have still 2 copies of Tellarknight Caduceus. Not only does this guy let you extend with your Tellarknights and gain access to the whole deck, it recycles, which is very important for follow-up play. We have 1 copy of Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. This is your turn skip button. I usually don't like to do this anymore. It's too easy to negate, unless I know for sure that my opponent doesn't play a lot of hand traps or doesn't have negates. But turn skip is not something that we're focused on anymore. A lot of Tellarknight duelists will tell you the same thing, so it's important to keep that in mind. We have your Dark Tellarknight Bottomless. You want to bring her out usually when you're comboing off with the Diamond, because Diamond and her equals your opponent doesn't get to use Dark Monster effects from on the field and in hand, so Bottomless does just that beautifully. Trevor is one copy of. This guy is almost a cut from the deck list, but I don't have a better substitute for it. He breaks boards by himself, going second, so it's for a follow-up especially. It's a very easy card to make. I just wish it didn't have that many restrictions that it does. But anyway, so that's one of that. And then one copy of Deltaros, something to equip to Tellarknights to activate its effect. Also has a very good floating effect. Both Trevor and Deltaros float. But then again, the deck functions so well on its own now that you almost don't need that anymore. So they went from being big boss monsters to kind of playing almost second fiddle, which is kind of sad, but kind of that's where we're at right now with the Tellarknights. We have one copy of Constellar Pleiades. Attach bounce target, unfortunately. However, you can recycle your own Tellarknight Constellar cards during your opponent's turn or during your turn. There's a card in my side deck that I have that interacts very well with this, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, okay? So it makes them a little bit more valuable. Ptolemy, as of now, this card is, you already know, its only purpose is to rank up and rank down modulate for your deck. And then one copy of Constellar Diamond. Diamond is the boss monster of this deck, still very good against selected dark decks, and can win games on its own. So that's the Tellarknight lineup. What we have here is we have one Baron and one copy of Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. This is for your super heavies and super heavies only. You basically, with Bike, you can make Axel Synchro into your Baron DeFleur. And then you can go into your main engine, not worrying about Nib. Because I know Nibiru is seeing a lot of play nowadays. But so that's the play here, and it's an Omni Negate, so it helps. And then for your board breakers, you got one Evil Storm Exciton Knight going second. It puts pressure on, you know, without committing too much. 2 level 4s, you can freely special summon that. And then one Zeus to kind of go on top of Evil Storm Exciton with 2 materials attached. So double board breakers essentially. So I recommend running those 2 in your deck. We have one Abyss Dweller, because Dweller is good again, because Tear Elements are a thing, and Unchained is a thing. So this card plus Diamond usually shuts down their whole engine, and they hardly have an out against it. So Dweller is very good. And then one Shangri-Ira, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Shangri-Ira is there because we need 2 level 7s sometimes. I don't often make them, it depends on the scenario, but usually, I mean, free level 7 and then Interruption, and then locks a zone or 2. And then makes the field spell live. So it's very important, very good rank 7 still. So onto the side deck, we have our time card in Awesome. I haven't still used this card, to be fair. I don't think we've ever gone to time to games, just going too fast, but it comes up. It comes up more often than not. So one copy of that for the monsters, and then we have 2 Nibirus, because Unchained is a thing, and I don't know if they can recover as well once you nib them at a certain point. Just make sure you do it before they bring out their rank 6, because once they do that, it's kind of pointless, okay? So that's it for the monsters. For the spells, we have the 3 deck lockdowns. This is what I'm using for against Unchained and against a lot of decks actually. Deck lockdown plus Pleiades is usually a GG, because you pop this up, you summon Pleiades, and then once it's about to get destroyed, you just bounce it back to your hand and activate it again, and you keep doing that until your opponent, because what it does is doesn't let your opponent special summon from the deck, and doesn't let your opponent add cards from deck to hand, which is what Unchained is focused on. We got one copy of Feather Duster, one copy of Raigeki, one copy of Dark Ruler. Yes, these are the cards that you're targeting with Triple Tactics Thrust going second, so very good cards for board breaking. We got 3 Cosmic Cyclones against the Runic matchup, because Runic still comes up against Unchained. Unchained still, this card's kind of force Unchained to respond, activate their trap cards early. And then speaking of traps, we got 1 Evenly Matched and 1 D Barrier. Triple Tactics Thrust, man, that card just like opens up your extra deck so well. You don't have to run 3 copies of anything anymore, and it kind of puts the fear in your opponent to play more cautiously. So that's about it, guys. I know you guys want test hands. However, I'll be busy at the regionals at the time of this upload. It'll be a Saturday, so I'll be at the regionals while you guys are watching this video. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave in the comments down below if you appreciate the strategy, if it's something that you're vibing with, or it's something that I can do better. I know MatMax came up again, but I think this right here interacts well, because you can pivot between those 3 engines without really locking yourself in. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my video. Wish me good luck today. And I will see you after the regionals to let you know how it went. Have a good one.